I'm going to go ahead and predict that there is, when the Heisman Trophy ceremony happens, and we get all our finalists, more often than not, it seems like it's been 4 as of late for the folks in New York. Among that group of 4, there's going to be 2 of those individuals that are not quarterbacks. We'll unpack that right now. Before we do that, make sure you're subscribed to College Football, nothing but college football year-round. If you're a sicko, welcome home. This is college football and only college football. So thank you for being locked in. So here's why I feel this way. Across college football, we've talked about this a lot, there is a ton of uncertainty at the quarterback position with your usual suspects that would be national title contenders. Now, why does that matter for an individual award? I don't know, but the people that vote on the Heisman Trophy, it seems to matter to them. When you're playing in the postseason, what have we seen often? The Heisman Trophy, historically, outside of the last couple of years, has gone to the quarterback on the best team, or trending towards the best team, or trending towards competing for a national championship. A lot of those teams that you would put in that category, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, talk this through some more, Ohio State, they all have new quarterbacks. And so this isn't me saying that those guys aren't still going to be good, but I think it's fair to assume there's a learning curve, and maybe they're not all good. Maybe even the ones that are good, are they playing at a Heisman Trophy caliber? We'll see. So the other part of that, to me, which makes this prediction a prediction for me, is there's a lot of other players that I would say are non-quarterbacks that you could choose from. You don't really need to squint too tough to see them in New York as a Heisman finalist. We saw it last year. Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, 2 non-quarterbacks, Heisman Trophy finalists. The last time we saw this happen, for the record, was a decade ago, 2015, 2016. We had back-to-back years where we had 2 non-quarterback finalists, so this would be a bit of an anomaly to a degree. But in terms of who could be in this discussion, a couple of different categories for me. There's the force feed category, where like if the offense goes through these guys and they play to their physical potential, they'll probably be in this discussion without a finalist. Like Jeremiyah Smith is going to be the best player in college football next year. Whether he's a Heisman finalist or not, that is the truth. You'll turn on the College Football 26 video game, and Jeremiyah Smith, I happen to believe, will be the highest-rated player. Okay, full stop. Jeremiah Love, the other Jeremiah that gets forgotten about a little bit in the discussion for Jeremiah of the year, he will be the one who I think is the catalyst for the Notre Dame offense. And the nice part about this, too, you'd think with no more you'll still have quarterback run, but with less quarterback run baked in there, with no Riley Leonard and C.J. Carr back there throwing the ball for you, maybe you get a lighter box. Maybe you get some more explosive plays. Also, if he's able to stay healthy for the entirety of a year, we've seen what he can be. So he could put up big numbers. That's one category. There's the other category where there's just a lot of juice, and the guy that leads this category to me is like a Ryan Williams. How good was he early on in last year? Like after the Georgia game, I think he was on a lot of people's Heisman Trophy boards, so to speak. We did a top 10 ranking for us here at On 3 for our Heisman Trophy pulse, if you will, every single week. And Ryan Williams was in that top 10, I want to say, up until the very last week of the season. So you have that category. And then you have the defensive players. And I know it sounds wild, but just roll with me for a second. Caleb Downs, I think, is going to be the best defensive player in college football. It has been flirted with openly. Do we get my guy some snaps on offense? And I don't even need to have Caleb Downs have like 30 carries and 400 yards and a couple touchdowns for him to be in this discussion. I'm saying just like the right moments when voters are watching, do we get Caleb Downs a couple of different plays where he gets in the end zone or has a nice explosive play? If that happens and Caleb Downs does what Caleb Downs does on the defensive side, I think you could see him in New York City. And then the other defensive player that has to be mentioned is Dylan Stewart from South Carolina. Could he go full Aiden Hutchinson or Chase Young? And again, make sure this is clear. I'm not saying these guys actually win the Heisman Trophy. I'm saying when it comes to who's on that stage to be a finalist, I think we'll have more than one non-quarterback up for that award. Again, there is no returning Caleb Williams or Bryce Young or anyone that's just like, you're oh yeah, for sure he's a Heisman finalist kind of guy because he's been in that discussion before. I think Kate Clemens is going to be good. I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to be good. Lenore Sellers, we've bought all the stock we can find. But for the Heisman Trophy, I think this discussion will be a lot more intriguing because of what I just mentioned with all those players that could make something happen and be in the Heisman Trophy ceremony and be finalists. Now, one more thing I want to make sure we say here before we move on. This discussion around the Heisman, I think has gotten a little bit more nuanced as the playoff has expanded. Because we said it before. It used to be if you're playing for a national championship or your team is one of those 3 or 4 teams about to play for a national championship, then we look at you a little bit more closely. And if we're a voter in Wichita, Kansas, we just lazily look at the rankings, look at the box score, look at the best team and the best player. We say, okay, great, we'll go and put this, vote in for our guy, and we'll go from there. Not really watching college football quite as closely as maybe you would hope someone with a Heisman vote would do. What I think the expanded playoff has done, one of the positives that I'm a fan of, honestly, for this playoff, is it has impacted the way that we have to watch November football. Because if you're watching the Big 12, you're like, who's getting in the conference title game? I mean, Colorado has a shot. Kansas State's got a shot. Baylor's got a shot. Iowa State. That's a conversation happening the last couple weeks of the season. We're not even sure how that thing was going to shake out. There's it felt like 18 teams that had a chance to be in the conference title game going into that last week of the season. So what I'm trying to say is that the amount of impactful games that voters, I think, will watch more closely, I think that's going to allow for more actual football to be watched and more good players to shine. I think that's a reason why you got to see so much Ashton Jeanty a year ago, outside of him doing ridiculous numbers. Travis Hunter, same thing, with Colorado being in the Big 12 title hunt. People got to see more of him. Guys that I don't know they would get as much shine as they deserve if the average Heisman voter wasn't tuned into the playoff race. Just my own thought on this. So, again, I hope this happens because I think it'd be good for the sport in terms of actual college football being watched. But regardless, I can't wait to see how it all shakes out, and I can't wait to see how that playoff race continues to impact the Heisman Trophy. Not trying to make the Heisman Trophy the main point or the end-all be-all here, but it's one of the, I think, few positives of expanding the playoff. Another show for another time, though, when it comes to the other positives or negatives of the expanded playoff. But that's kind of bad vibes to have that discussion right now.